Some people believe they don't live interesting lives, so they choose not to create. But I hope this video shows you can make anything boring look captivating and tell your story too. You don't need to live the most exciting life to have something to share with the world. Whether you want to get better at cinematography, improve your visual storytelling skills, or share more from your everyday life, I want to show you how I find ways of making my boring life more extraordinary so that anyone watching can relate to my experiences. If you don't believe it's possible, I created a short film filled with just everyday things anyone can do, but filmed cinematically to give a different perspective on how I would view my life. I also made it to show you that if you want to create art with your camera or tell a story no matter how simple it is, you can and be the main character of your story. So this is a challenge for you, to find the beauty in the ordinary, mundane, everyday life. We can relate to the everyday things more than anything else, and we can find new ways to show the audience how they can see their lives in ways they haven't before. The films and shows we watch have moments where characters experience normal, mundane things, and doing this for yourself is a way to get better at making these boring moments feel relatable and give a new outlook on life. In this video, I'll go through everything that went into filming my everyday life. From the pre-production, the gear I used, to the actual filming with behind-the-scenes moments to show how I got certain shots and some rigs I used, as well as any post-production that might be worth mentioning to help you bring it all together for the final video. I'll share everything it took to make this short film and my thought process for making the ordinary extraordinary while only relying on the resources and locations I had close to me. Let's start with the most important part you have to focus on: pre-production. Pre-production is where you should spend most of your time on any project. No matter how big or small your end goal is, always have a plan prepared for filming. You might think I spend most of my time filming, which I wish was true, but in reality, I probably spend around 70 to 80% of my time on a project writing and planning before I finally get to film. There are 3 things I do that go into pre-production that I'll talk about: the initial creation of the video, the shot list and planning, and location scouting. First off, I always start planning my videos on the Notes app on my phone. I start a new note and jot down random ideas and thoughts I have for what I want to create or what the project should be about. This idea is how you can find interesting ways of filming your everyday life and do it by yourself. Now, with that idea set, I start to organize my thoughts on a Google Doc and then use a platform called Milanote to dive deep into creating a shot list and coming up with a plan for filming to get this project done. And I'm really happy to say that this video is also sponsored by Milanote. Milanote is a tool for organizing creative projects, and I've genuinely enjoyed using this for my work to help make planning simple and easy to get done. Even before this video, I've used Milanote to help plan previous short films, and I was really excited by the opportunity to partner with them. When working on something complicated like this short film, Milanote can help you visualize exactly what you want in the best way it makes sense for you. When you create a new board, you can choose one of the ready built-in templates to get you started on the layout if you're not sure how you want to organize your board. But here is the final board I created for pre-production to help put my short film together. As I planned this out, I created different columns to help keep my thoughts organized. From the project overview, with the short film and this breakdown video Google Doc attached, with general notes I want to follow for the short film, to all the gear and equipment I need and the props I would use. I also made a column with some video inspiration that I enjoyed, which is easy to add. You simply copy the link to the video, pull the web clicker here from the side, and paste the link. As you see, you can easily get back to the video that inspired you if you feel stuck. Surrounding the column, I filled the board with general shot inspiration ideas to get my brain thinking about what I could come up with. But the most important column I created is the filming column, with the locations listed here and a subboard with a breakdown of the full shot list I came up with. I broke down my short film exactly how I wanted the final video to follow. I organized everything by day and location as a checklist and even color coded it so I could see everything clearly in my brain. I also have shot ideas put up right next to each day so I know what shots I'm thinking of next to what I wrote down. If you compare this to the final video, you can see some shots didn't make the cut, but it's good to have extra shot ideas in there in case others don't work out. Sometimes I have pictures on my phone I've saved that I wanted to remember for inspiration, and it's easy to add those to my board by using the Milanote app they have. This has been great for adding ideas on the go, but also for referencing your shot list while you are filming so you don't forget a shot and you can check them off as you film them. You want to keep everything organized and straightforward to help make filming as smooth as possible. For each day, I even wrote down what I would wear if I had an idea in mind to make filming easier and one less thing to think about. But within this subboard, I created another subboard just for the basketball sequence since that was its own complicated shoot. But with Milanote, I made a clear shot list that helped me make filming easy and stress-free when I didn't have a lot of time the day of to film. If you're working with a crew, Milano makes it simple and easy to share your boards with other people so you can collaborate on the planning or get feedback on certain things you can't do alone. This lets everyone know what needs to get done and keeps everyone on the same page on shoot days. Creating these projects all on my own is a real challenge, but Milano helps me not lose my mind when I have to tackle every single aspect of filmmaking by myself. If you want to use Milano, it is available for free with no time limit. You can sign up by using the link in the description and start your next creative project. While planning my board, I also did location scouting to make sure the shots I wanted worked with the locations I picked out with the vision I had in mind. I never skip this crucial step because going to the actual locations can lead to new ideas and hidden gems you might not know about until you explore them. I can also practice the shots I have in mind, so when I go back for the final shooting, I know how to film them and save time on setting up and not lose precious moments when the sun might be rising or setting and I need specific lighting conditions. Pre-production makes the rest of the project much easier to accomplish when you give it the proper time, so the rest of the process becomes less stressful to finish. Now I want to get into how I filmed my ordinary life and how to make it extraordinary through cinematography and visual storytelling. Here's a quick run through of the gear I used to make this all possible. My camera, the Sony a7 IV with my trusty 24-70 f2.8 G Master lens that I use for 80 to 90% of my shots. For the rest of the shots, I used my new lens, the Tamron 20mm f2.8 that I recently bought, which gives you a wider look and macro capabilities for some unique shots that I can't achieve as easily with the 24-70. And it's a lot lighter and smaller in size. I used my standard tripod and a mini tripod for some shots, as well as a magic arm and a 20-inch grip arm for some rigging ideas I'll get into later. For lighting, I mainly used natural lighting when I could, but I did use the Zhun B200 and the Nanlite Pavo tube to increase the ambient lighting, and the LumeCube mini tube light for adding in some hair light in some shots or for the special effects they feature. Now here's my full thought process for filming and how I got creative with showcasing boring, mundane, everyday things from my life. I wanted to bring you into the things I would do on a day-to-day basis in the summer. They could be as simple as getting out of bed in the morning or struggling to do work, but also the ordinary moments that are unique to me, like how I procrastinate throughout the day. And the more fun things I like to do, whether it's playing basketball or going to the beach or filming. What I do in my life is different than how you live yours, so share the things that make yours special or the things everyone does in new ways. When I know what I want to think about in the short film, I start to think about compositions and how to bring you into my world in ways that the visuals are more interesting compared to the activity I'm doing. If you have trouble coming up with compositions on your own, then you might need to develop your taste more. What I mean by that is take in more of what's around you, from movies and shows and even other forms of art like paintings. They can give you new ways of thinking and be a good source of inspiration for how you can film. That's how I'm able to constantly come up with ideas, whether it's something that inspired me or I've developed a taste for a certain look or style I want in my work. Your shots will keep evolving the more you create and take in, so you just have to build up your experience and what you see around you. Now you can think about something as simple as working on your computer. What are different ways you can show yourself working, typing, just using your laptop as a prop, and having the camera in different positions to have variety in what you film? To get more interesting compositions and shot ideas, you want to get different shot types you can mix together. From wide or establishing shots, to medium shots focusing more on you or the prop, and detail shots to things we should pay attention to. Also, change up each shot type so that not every wide shot feels similar or every close-up is the same unless it serves the story you're trying to tell. You don't need to have aesthetic locations or backgrounds to make a shot look interesting, and I think I've shown that as I've been told in the comments before, so thank you for that. But you can do this way of thinking for your shot ideas with each ordinary task you want to show. Now, using the magic arm I have, I had this idea that the audience watching was like a fly on the wall. Watching me struggle to work and get stuff done, I thought why not attach the camera to the top of my door using the clamp and swing it open like you just entered and I looked small and conflicted. This was a shot where I needed someone else to help swing the door, but you can still film this shot static or attach a string to the door to see if you can swing it yourself. The point here is to get different perspectives when coming up with your ideas. It's not about being flashy or cool, but how it can work with the story you're trying to tell. For another interesting idea to show how I procrastinate, I came up with this match cut idea of placing the camera close to my keyboard and showing how I struggle to pull myself to write. When I finally decide to give it a shot and maybe type something, I cut to a shot of me playing video games instead, but shot in the same perspective close to my hand the way the previous shot would have been if I continued typing. Little things like that are simple ideas done through compositions I choose and editing that make them work. Moving on to the basketball sequence, I know every shot will be static, locked off on a tripod, so I tried to find ways of bringing you into the action without moving the camera. I achieved that with close-ups of me jab stepping and bringing the focus in towards different moves I do. A medium close shot of me crossing the camera as if you are the defender. Then I also used the location I picked to find compositions that make simple things like shooting the ball or breathing more dramatic than they are and interesting to watch. I constantly choose what I want to show and what I choose to leave out in every shot I come up with. Be intentional with everything you do. For the lighthouse sequence, this is when location scouting really helped me come up with the shots I didn't think of before. Here, I'm finally going out to film, so I set up my camera to shoot for the day and go to an incredible spot under the George Washington Bridge with a lighthouse to film and be in the moment. For filming the camera in my hand with the A7 IV, I attached the cameras using a 20-inch grip arm to get that locked off perspective focused on me and what I would look like shooting. As I mentioned with location scouting, you have to check out the places you want to film beforehand, because if I didn't, I never would have found this spot right by the lighthouse that I had to include in the short film. This is how I find the beautiful moments that mix with the boring everyday things I do. Going there at the right time of day helped make the shot even more stunning and became one of my favorite shots of the film. All of the locations I used were easy to get to and within the city. I just had to go explore them more, use my imagination to see how I can film them to help make my life more extraordinary than it might be. So try to go out and see what you can make look stunning using your eye and camera. For lighting, I always try to use available light when possible, especially for the outdoor shots. When I needed a boost, I used the Zhun B200 in my room when laying down, the Nanlite tube light in the bathroom to increase the ambient lighting, and the Lume Cube mini tube light as a hair light to enhance the window lighting in my room and as a TV effect on my face when I was playing video games. But for all the outdoor shots, the lighting is all natural coming from the sun. I just picked the best times of days to shoot, whether it was sunset at the lighthouse or sunrise for the basketball day. Even almost midday can be the right choice, for example filming at the beach, to give the shots that warm, sunny beach day vibes. Lighting can make or break the look you want, so picking the right time of day to film is crucial, and you have to properly light your scenes to bring the image together. Just the composition alone isn't enough, and I've talked more about lighting in previous videos if you want to dive deeper into that. But for most if not all of my shots, I try to shoot from the shadow side. It just gives the most depth to your shots and makes them more cinematic if you want to put it that way, but sometimes broad lighting shots have their benefits. And besides the magic and grip arms, everything else was shot on my regular tripod or mini tripod if I needed a low shot. But for Saturday, the shopping day, I simply placed my camera in the cart and pushed it around. I placed a bag under it to keep it stable when moving and just thought of what I could do on the spot without drawing attention to myself. I did want to use the magic arm on the cart, but I can never get it to grip just right, so I had backup shots I could do instead. Having a backup plan really helped because sometimes the shots you come up with might not work, so you have extra shot ideas that saves you when you finally go to edit. But for putting the groceries away, the shot of me opening the fridge was my camera lying on the floor, and the cabinet shot was my camera inside just sitting there. But as you can see, the shots were simple to do, maybe a bit tough to get just right and execute them by myself, but it's through my compositions, lighting, and planning that helped me film my everyday life like it was more than just a boring week in the summer. Now for some post-production tips. I already have many videos diving into my color grading workflow and plugins I use to get the look I achieve, but maybe I can make a small follow-up video quickly going over some shots and how I color them if you'd like me to. But one thing to pay attention to is the sound design when editing. The sounds you hear are just as important as the visuals to complete the experience. And picking the right music as well. That gives the mood or tone for what the audience would feel throughout the film, and that can take a lot of time to get just right. In editing, knowing when to cut so shots don't last too long or too little on screen goes with the pacing of the story and the music you use. To build up that skill, you just have to continue creating and experiment with the timing you take in your edits to see what makes sense. Revisit your work with fresh eyes and critique it to see what can be done better the next time. But I hope this video gave you some insight into my thought process and how I find the beauty in a boring life to make it look extraordinary. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment below on how you like to capture your everyday life, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.